some kind of patterns and knowledge, yeah, and then and then we have look at the history and also evaluation of the data mining. Okay, so today I'm going to continue with the core of the data mining itself in terms of in terms of looking at the data mining tasks, yeah, and application techniques, and also some of the applications. We are going to look at the problems. Actually, problems could be most likely you can make it reference to the new future also lah, yeah. But here I'm going to look at the tasks and techniques. Yeah. If you look at data mining last week, yeah, we have gone through what we call KDD. Remember? Yeah, KDD. Yeah. So KDD is referred to the knowledge discovery in databases. It has several phases. Started from the data integration. Lepas tu apa dia? You have data integration. Okay, which is you have multiple sources of data, okay, and then you have data selections, yeah. So here involve pre-processing, data preparation, okay, identifying the attributes, main attributes, the importance that you get from multiple sources, yeah, right. And then here after that you would have the data mining model. Yeah, so model will be this part, this, yeah, will be reflect to the data mining models. Okay, so it's very important for us to look at specific tasks, yeah, and also specific techniques will be available or suitable for the task. Okay, and then here later on you are going to produce some kind of knowledge or patterns, and these patterns will be needed for the purpose of evaluation. Okay, so after you look at the outcomes, yeah, so evaluation takes part in terms of looking at the certain measures, yeah. The common measures that been used for the evaluation will be the accuracy. Pernah dengar accuracy? Have you heard about accuracy?
No.
Pernah kan? Yeah, it's a common accuracy measures being used, yeah. And here after that you would finally will be deploying, yeah. Means that if every stakeholders or partners in the company or in the organization are happy with the finding, so you might deploy this data into the company. Okay, and sometimes the deployment will also involve some kind of putting the outcome or the results into more meaningful so-called meaningful presentation that we call as the data visualization, yeah. And also if you remember last semester that you have learned in the knowledge base, kan? So at the end you would have what we call as the knowledge base, yeah, and this will help in the decision making. So these are the phases in the KDD. Can you remember the phases of KDD? Do you think you're able to remember the phases? Boleh tak? Anybody? Boleh tak? Okay, so it started from data integration, selection, and then data mining model, and then evaluation, pattern evaluation, knowledge evaluation, and finally will be the deployment, yeah. And this will be, now we are going to look at the tasks. Okay, there are so many tasks for data mining, yeah. If you look at classification, clustering, and association, this will be the we are going to cover in the subject, yeah. Which other than that, you could see there are other methods or other tasks, yeah. Prediction, sequential analysis, derivation, similarity analysis, trend analysis. Somehow the trend this, yeah, this analysis, similarity analysis will be similar to the clustering, yeah. And then trend analysis, and same goes to the prediction. It might not in the detail in the lecture, but I'm going to touch prediction and also trend analysis a little bit in the lab session ataupun WK session. Okay. Are you anything that you have not heard before? Classification, clustering is common, right? Have you heard about association?
Yes.
Association pernah dengar Alright, prediction, okay. So, also prediction pun tak ada masalah, right? Okay? Betul tak? Pernah tak? Pernah dengar?
Pernah dengar.
Definitely lah, pernah dengar. Okay, how about the techniques here? Decision trees?
Pernah.
Pernah lah. Association?
Pernah.
Yes, so actually association here lah. Okay, terbalik ni Dia punya matching ni lain, okay? And then clustering, K-means pernah dengar kan?
Yeah, pernah.
Right. In neural network, definitely you have heard. Okay, these two has been discussed in the KBS, right? Betul tak? Nervous Bayes and also KNN, right? And then statistical ni something that you will you have gone through in the basic statistic lah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let's have a look at the first okay. How you view the slide? Is it full or is it very partially okay? Is it okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay, madam.
Right.
Okay, madam.
So now let's have a look at the first task. That will be classification. I believe most of you also have been in the lab yesterday. So you heard I was mentioning about class, isn't it? Yesterday, remember?
Yes.
Ada tak? Yang petang nanti
Yes.
saya akan explain lagi lah. And then you also heard about what I have mentioned in the set of attributes, right? Okay. So classification is considered one of the methods that ada supervised. Okay. What is supervised? Have you heard about supervised? What is supervised?
It is where we know the output.
Okay, supervised will be a reference to the method ataupun under method that will be techniques. Okay, so methods of machine learning to train or to learn from the historical data. Okay, so in the context of supervised, they will use historical data, and the historical data will be considering the outcome also. So you have set of input and set of output, and this output will be like a teacher, to your model, so that the model know, okay, when you have this set of inputs, it must produce this outcome. Okay, and then when it goes to the detail of the data sets, you might have thousands and data. Majority, when this has this set of input, it produces one outcome. So this is how the model learns. Can you understand? Right. So
Yes.
so that is the concept of a supervised model or machine learning techniques or algorithms will learn from the prior or historical data. Okay, how a set of input will produce the outcome. So it will look at the values of attributes and also the values of the outcome. So this is what we have in the classification methods, and this set of data, historical data, will be known as training set. Okay, this training set might be something that we have identified will be relevant, and with certain attributes. That is why the previous slide or previous lesson, we have gone through the process, the phase of KDD. So phase of KDD involve data integration and data selection. So those phases are very important for us to determine what attributes ataupun which records will be important for us to use in developing the models. Okay, say that okay, we have set of historical data. Not all data significant. Understand? Not all records will be having giving us to learn. Yeah. So like you know that certain scenario, yeah, you know the outcome will be common. Betul tak? Okay, the outcome will be common, and this common could be a knowledge, or this common could be not important. Right. So we need to segregate among between common knowledge and also very important knowledge. Okay. So in that case, when we go through the process of KDD, we need to identify our records that will be meaningful and which attribute will be very, very important. Yeah. So the formulation of the data set, yeah, will help us to to produce a very good training set, and this good training set will produce some kind of good model, right? Okay, and then after we have this model, yeah, so the process of modeling based on the training set, and the training set will be having input and also output. Yeah, so as you know that set of input, like we have weather scenario, and the outcome will be whether to play or not, something like that. So it must be one outcome only. So outcome tu tak boleh belah pelbagai. Yeah, it's hard. Okay, yes, definitely you can make a multiple decision, but there is another approach lah. For now, what you need to understand is that you have set of input or attributes that help you to make one decision, one particular decision, and the value of the decision could be two. Yeah, maksudnya yes or no, true or false. Or it could be multiple, means that you could have that one is binary classes. It could be multi-level classes. Yeah. For example, like you have you have what we call washing machine, right? Dekat rumah kan, you have washing machine. So washing machine, there will be, when you put your laundry and so forth, it has whether to conclude at the end to wash in normal or small ataupun large, yeah, large ni lah. So that will be some kind of decision that you are going to have, yeah, when you have or the application that you can see in the classification. Okay, so classification, sometimes you will see, oh, classification is about class lah, means categorical, isn't it? Yeah, so categorical, determining like just now, yes or no. Yeah, so it could be in different way of putting the data into classes lah. Yeah. Okay, and when you already have the model, yeah, you already identify, or this is set of data that will help us to develop the model, and also with set of columns or sets of attributes, then you are going to have a new data set, and this new data set will be used for testing. Yeah, so this is unseen records, means that you already have you already have the model, and then you want to test the data in making the classification or making the prediction, right? So say that you have developed a decision tree model, okay, and you have trained it, right? And then you want to make a prediction something in the future. Okay, what happened the next 3 days? What happened the next 4 days? Okay, so you can put the input value and look at how good this model produce the prediction, and it will determine the accuracy of the model. Okay, so remember, in the context of classification, we measure the accuracy of model based on the test set, right? Okay, to look at the overview of the data, the modeling concept is like this, right? So here, as you see, this is the first part, this one, yeah. What do you think? This is, we call as what?
Training set?
Yeah, this is referring to the training set, because as you see here, apa dia? Yeah. So we have the data set already have the outcome for each record. Understand? So we have 10 records here, and each record already have the associated outcome, which is the class or the cheat. Yeah. So we know that from the historical data that if the person is refund equal with yes, single with the marital status, yet single, and then taxable income equivalent to this value, this person cheat the cheat claim, cheat on the claim, no, yeah, the value of cheat is equal to no. Okay, but certain cases there will be yes here, yeah, as you see in the record number 5 and also record number 8 and also record number 10. Okay, so based on this data, okay, we assign it as a training set, yeah, because it's already at the outcome, and then we will have more some kind of algorithms, and this algorithm will be used to develop the model. Okay, and as you see here, this is training set, isn't it? Betul ke? Is it a training set?
Test set. Testing.
Okay, you are focusing. Okay, good. Okay, so this is considered as another data, yeah, another data, and as you see, there is no no outcome. Okay, so this this considered a new data, and we want to know whether the model able to predict this set of inputs or not. Okay, so we pump it into the model. Okay, and we'll see how the model make the prediction. Okay, so you will have here nanti when you masukkan dalam you punya model, you will have the predicted value for each records. Okay, says that it has predicted something, and then from the value of predicted, like here, yes, and no, and so forth, right? Okay, and this one will be used to determine the accuracy. Okay, so it's becoming the measure of the model. Okay, so measures of model will be using the accuracy here. Okay, right? Is it clear? Boleh faham?
Yes.
Let me move to the other slides. Yeah? So if you look at the application of classification, right, so it can be implemented in many areas, like what we see marketing, because we have set of consumers, right? So normally company has who's selling products is already have a set of profiles, and set of profile like age, lagi apa? What are attributes that can be associated to the profiles? Age lagi, what else? Name lagi? Gender, good lagi. Apa lagi? What else? Number phone lagi?
Marital status.
Marital status, good. Back again tadi, okay. So you could have location and so forth. But be careful, there are certain attribute that will be unique for the profile, like you and another friend. Do you have any uniqueness?
IC?
Yes, IC here, ID and the name, right? Your name and the other person tak sama lah kan. Mungkin ada yang sama tapi ejaan mungkin lain, pronunciation will be different and so forth. So those unique attributes will not be used in the modeling. Okay, why? Nanti kita akan discuss in the further topic. But when we dealing with set of data and you have the profiles here, okay, so the importance is that you need to identify which attribute that significant just now, right? But that unique attribute must not included as the modeling purpose. Yeah, okay. Right here now we have the set of consumers, okay, and then these are the demographic profiles and so forth. As you see here, lifestyle, company interaction. I mean that the salary. Probably you want to have the salary. You want to have what is currently the job of the customer, okay, and then finally you want to do what? Okay, you already or what you are going to decide. Yeah, so you want to decide this is whether the customer is buying or not buying the product. So this becoming your class attributes. Okay, so is it clear? So you have age here, and then this is column, and this is records. Yeah, so you have age, and then you have lifestyle. Yeah, and then you might have a gender just now we mentioned. Okay, and then you have salary. Okay, at the end, the class attribute will be product. Yeah, product. So buy or not buy. Okay, clear? Clear, faham? Right, so this is one of the application. Okay. Another application could be in the different scenario, which is you want to churn or you want to attrition. Means that you want to remove this data that not reliable. I mean, when you have the customer data, yeah, at the end when you want to make promotion and so forth, you identify, okay, actually this customer can be removed from your what we call list, yeah, potential customer. Okay, so this is how you can apply based on the same just now, yeah, based on the same records and so forth. You want to know whether the customer is loyal. There are certain customer about the product like chance, yeah, means that it's not intentionally to buy repetitively the product. So you could see repetition and non-repetition customer, and the non-repetition customer might be a disloyal customer. Okay, there will be a lot of other application as well. Okay, what else that you see? Have you can you think about other examples of classification? Other example? Anybody?
Detecting cancer, either malignant or benign.
Okay, good. Yeah, if you relate to what we have discussed yesterday, those who have discussed it, you can relate to the medical problem. Means that you can use the classification techniques to determine whether you have the same you are associated to the diseases or not. Okay. Other than that, also you might want to use classification to classify documents. Yeah. Last week we have gone through certain scenario big data that will be related to the social media. So you have a lot of posting, isn't it? Yeah, you can see a lot of posting every day, kan, from the customer, from the people. Yeah. So the currently most popular most popular application will be on the sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is one of the classification application also. Okay, what is sentiment? Anybody heard about sentiment analysis? What is sentiment analysis? Pernah dengar tak?
Bias.
Anybody? Bias. Okay, like what?
Don't know.
Don't know.
People perspective.
Perspektif. Maisara ada? Macam tak boleh dengar aja Maisara.
Ya, Doktor.
Have you heard what is sentiment? Ada idea tak what is sentiment? Sentiment analysis.
About people opinion.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Means that you are looking at the people opinion and then you want to know whether the people opinion is towards positive or towards apa?
Negative.
Yes, good. So towards negative. So actually that it can be done means that we have textual data, textual posting and so forth, and we are going to use this information to determine the sentiment of the people. Yeah. So that is a how. Yeah. We might not looking at the profiles, but we want to analyze in a big overview of the sentiments. Means that if you have a certain like COVID-19 vaccine currently, so adakah folks ataupun population in Malaysia is towards sentiment positive or sentiment negative? You might want to look at certain location. For example, in Selangor, maybe there is lots of people looking for the vaccine, looking for the solution because Selangor is considered is the highest less number of affected to the viruses compared to other location. Might not. I don't mind. I can stay around safely. No, I know how to keep myself safe. I know that the people around me also taking very high conscious and also practicing the good practices and so forth. So I'm not much worried on the sentiment. So I'm not much worried about this virus. So the sentiment is more about towards to neutral. Okay, so that is how we look at the sentiment analysis. Yeah, means that to relate to the data mining, it can be done through the classification. Okay. Let's have a look at next task, which is we call it clustering. Okay, so the difference between I would like to make a direct difference comparison. Yeah, classification and clustering. So what's the difference between these two? Which classification we are using the historical data, and clustering also we use the historical data. But technically, we don't want to be influenced by the prior knowledge. Instead, we use the attributes, the set of attributes, and let the algorithm make the category and segmenting the data set. So we don't want to. We are not saying that we don't appreciate prior knowledge, but we want to let the algorithm to explore how the data is divided. Okay, understood? Boleh faham?
Yes.
So it's give advantage also to the scenario, like we have historical data, we have existing data, but we do not have any information on the outcome. Okay, also these algorithms can be applied together. Okay, so it means that very clear here in clustering, we are using what we call the set of attributes, and we use the formula of similarity. Okay. So, have you heard about Euclidean distance? Yeah, have you heard about this Euclidean distance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Euclidean distance will be the most powerful formula to be used in determining the similarity. Right. So, if you remember, it's a distance of square root x1 minus x1 xa1 xa2 power 2 plus y1 minus, tak perlulah saya bawa a tu y2. Yeah, so this will be the basic Euclidean distance functions. Means that we look at the summation of difference. Yeah. With power 2 of each attributes, and this is x. Yeah, x is attribute 1, and then we have another attribute which is y. Okay, and this similarity will be done for each pair. Yeah, let me have a look whether we have the okay. So maksudnya dalam similarity it will use what we call if the data set we have 10 points, so n1 n2 until n10, so you will look at the each pair. Firstly you will compare n1 and n2, and then n1 and n3, n1 and n4 until n10, and then n2 and n3, n2 and n4, and so forth. Each pair will be we will calculate, the algorithm will calculate the similarity of each pair using the Euclidean distance functions. Okay, so from that, what the formula or what the algorithm will find will be something like this. Okay, it will produce some kind of group of points. Okay, as you see, there is a group of point in pink, right? And then you will have a group of point in blue, and finally a group of point in orange. Okay, and then, oops, tak nampak lagi dia punya point. Okay, and then we the target of clustering, how we identify this will be the best cluster is by looking at the intra clusters distance and also inter cluster distance. So intra cluster is referring to the distance between objects in the same cluster. Okay, so the distance between object in the same cluster must be minimized. Okay, so for example, the first object in pink and the second object in pink, yeah, and then compare to the compare the object in pink to the blue, yeah, this one will be producing inter, and then object with in the same cluster within object 1 in pink and object 2 in the pink, this is what we call intra. Okay, so the total of distance, for example, in one group will be calculated as the intra. Meanwhile, yeah, the total distance of objects, for example, in pink versus to the object in the blue, will determine the inter. Okay, and it also should be maximized. Okay, so maximization will be based on the nearest point, or it could be based on the farthest point. Okay, so this is how you look at clustering methods, how it use Euclidean distance, yeah, and Euclidean distance will be based on the pair of objects. Okay, and it could be it doesn't have to relate to the outcome or the prior knowledge. Okay, so like what I show you just now, we have N1, N2 until N10. Okay, and then you will have object, each object will be attribute X and attribute Y. Imagine that we have only 2 attributes lah yang dalam gambar ni ditunjukkan ada 3. This is X, this is Y, and this is Z. Okay, right, and then we will look at the pairing, this one, and this one, and so forth. Okay, right. So you can you relate it how the process of clustering been done using the formula, and the methods is looking at the similarity. Okay, and the target of similarity will be intra and inter. Okay, intra must be minimized and the distance between cluster must be maximized. Any questions? Any questions? Can you understand? Yeah, boleh boleh faham Alright, so we are going to apply, this is some of popular formula in clustering will be k-means. If you want to relate to other algorithms like KNN, ANN, SOM, yeah, have you heard about SOM, self-organizing mapping? Yeah, so these are among algorithms that will be related to the clustering. Okay. Okay. What kind of application that use clustering? Okay. So some of the application it will be related to the clustering will be market. Yeah. So the market. Yeah. So we want to segment the market into several groups. Like we have potential customers. Okay, we already identify potential customers. Okay, now from this set of potential customer, we want to know a specific description about these potential customer. So you might use clustering methods. Yeah, so we can look at the similarity among these potential customer. So it will be at the end dividing the the kumpulan of potential customer to subgroups. Like for example, you can divide into very interested set of interested and then very passive customer, or might be very neutral customer. So this is how you can divide your customer. Okay, I think I have another example here. Yeah. Like this one. So this is a telecommunication customers, yeah, and how they make use the customer data to determine into several segments like high duration customer, and then the second segment or the second segment ni okay, dia termasuk di sini pula, ya. The second segment moderate in calls but moderate in calls and also moderate to high data used. Yeah, if you look at the third segment, yeah, high duration of net calls, yeah, and then high duration of calls, yeah, and also low in the generated and also data use. Okay, so at the end you can see very low in data use, yeah, low in low in generating calls, but high number of receive and okay, yang 6 ni pun termasuk di sini, ya. So these are how you can how you can see, if you see kalau you nak relate to the real world. Okay, and you see it to the real world, segment 6 ni relate to whom? Any idea? Segment 6 ni, can you relate to whom?
Diplomat.
No. Diplomat. Lagi? Kalau saya lah, saya boleh imagine lah siapa yang segment 6 ni adalah those who are travelling. Maksudnya it comes to Malaysia and then he just want to you know, to use for example, you are using Maxis and then you pergi Arab Saudi, for example, you pergi Jepun ke apa, you nak call home, yeah, home you want to call back, it will cost you a lot. So rather than that, you would use the that nation ataupun domestic services, ya, katakan Arab punya nombor SIM card untuk call Malaysia. That will be more, lebih murah lah. So that is what I see in the segment C lah, is actually a frequent traveller lah, ya. Okay, if you look at the segments 5, if you might relate to the business, kan, businesses yang mana they use a lot of WhatsApp, they use a lot of incoming call, only only receive incoming call, no outcome, yeah. So this is certain subscription on receiving the customer orders and so forth. So you can relate to at the previous segment could be involve more active user rather than passive user. Yeah. Okay. So other application also here in document clustering. So this is also popular. Document clustering is so popular as what I have discussed just now on the social media, and also document clustering in the net through classification. And this part is using the clustering, which is rather than associated to the outcome, this one is just explore and try to look at how the algorithm produce the group of documents. Okay, Right. And then this part will be association. Okay, so we have supervised just now, yeah, under classification, and then we have unsupervised under clustering, and this one is also considered as unsupervised. Okay, if you look at association, the way of we can manipulate these algorithms will be something that's involved transactional data set. Okay, like you see here, TID is referring to the different customer or different transaction, like transaction 1 buying bread, coke, and also milk. Yeah, and second transaction beer and bread, for example. Okay, sorry lah, ada nampak beer di sini. Yeah, but this is what? This is classical classical case, yeah, how association rule mining is been proposed, yeah, and then beer, coke, diapers, and also milk. So you can see each transaction will be inconsistent, different, betul tak? Ada yang beli 2, ada yang beli 3, and so forth. So but this data are also important because we could produce or we can identify the most frequent items or the most frequent product bought together. Okay, so as you see secara general, yeah, you could see milk occurs 4 times, yeah, and then after that you want to know, okay, if the person buying milk, what are other product could be bought together with milk, right? Okay, so as you see, yeah, in 3 transaction, you could see there is a combination between milk and coke. Here also you have milk and coke, and here also you have milk and coke, isn't it? All right. From 4 transaction with milk, okay, 3 transaction consists coke also. So this is how we look. This is how we want to determine, like, if the we want to determine the rules. I mean, yeah, if the person buy milk, okay, what would be other product will be associated to the milk? Okay, what is the implication to get these rules? Yeah, the implication to get these rules is that we know that if the person always buy the certain product together, this can be help us to determine the best promotion in the organization. Like you have the outlet lah. Okay, we have in the supermarket. If you go to the Tesco, if you go to Giant, have you seen the promotion of purchase with purchase?
Yes.
Dah nampak kan?
Yes.
So how did they determine PWP product ini dengan produk ini? This is how they do that. Means that they look at the whole transaction historical data set, and this look like important information can be used for the promotion. Yeah, diaper milk implies to beer. Yeah, so this is where the classical data set. This is coming from US actually, data set ni, and the algorithm is a priori. Yeah, a priori. So we will discuss later on. Yeah. Okay, so like you see, the application definitely can be useful in the marketing because we have discovered the rules, and these rules will be providing association between products. Like you can also represent it into the consequence and antecedents. Kan? This one also you are familiar, right? So consequence is the right hand side, and then the antecedent will be the left hand side. Okay. Alright, and other than that, it will be beneficial to the supermarket for arrangement. Yeah, as you see, there are certain product put into together. Like you see, if you bought, for example, set of frozen, you might think of doing apa nama? Something related to the barbecue. So you can see some of the good supermarket will arrange sauces together and also charcoal. Yeah, so you know that this person are looking for this item. So if you make the arrangement like this, is the customer can directly grab these items and pay. Yeah, pay the finish the shopping is earlier. Okay, it's something like that. Yeah. Okay. Retail analytics. The example of retail analytics can be seen in the Malaysian cafe. There is lots of more lah. This is not only the example. You can see in the purchase to purchase and also as a giant hypermarket, Tesco and so forth. Okay, so far so good. Boleh saya continue sikit lagi? Banyak lagi sebenarnya, tapi I will go very fast because we have it in near future. Yang ini cuma saya nak explain sahajalah. Ya, Kamarul nak cakap apa tadi?
Anything.
Okay, right. So regression will be normally related to the prediction lah. Yeah, so prediction means that we want to forecast something, the value. The value tu dalam maksudnya the apa nama? Estimation value. Okay, so it could be in the continuous, as you see here, is a given continuous value variable, and we want to determine the dependency of this model in producing some kind of the outcome. Like here, we want to predict the amount of sales, yeah, from several set of expenditure on advertisement. Like you have expenditure on the TV, and then you have expenditure in social media. Yeah, so for example, you have done in three different media. Okay, and you want to determine what will be the sales outcome if you put into a certain amount of each. Yeah. Okay, and other than that, also if you look at the predicting velocity of winds, yeah, wind velocity based on temperature, humidity, air pressures, and so forth. So all of these attributes are in the form of continuous ataupun numeric. So wind velocity, kelajuan, there were certain numbers. Okay, you have temperature in numbers, and the humidity also in numbers, and air pressure in the numbers. Okay, same goes to the stock markets. Yeah, stock markets also has the what you can relate to the stock markets. What value that you can relate to the stock market? Any idea? Siapa rajin tengok stock market? Opening price? Tak?
Opening price.
Yes, opening price, and then you might see closing price. So this opening price and closing price will be used to predict the next day price, for example, maximum price and so forth. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm losing my line. Okay. Next is deviation. So deviation is like it could be applying clustering, classification, and so forth. It called abnormally. Why it called anomaly? Because this abnormally happen. The rare occasion could be happening very 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 uncertain, and then not we need to look at for example card credit. Example is card credit, using of the card credit, and then also an idea, and this is the network instruction. abnormally detection, they are not all, but some, and a little part of the transaction will be fraud. So in order to identify the fraud, yeah, and so forth, you might use classification, or you might use the clustering methods. Yeah, okay, these are an example. You can go through to that. Okay, so this will be all the techniques that would be available. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, saya habiskan sikit lagi. Ambra? Apa dia?
Ambra. Apa tu Amirul?
Dia dah tanya kat chat.
Okay, saya habiskan sikit lagi. So if you look at this, okay, if you look at this something that I have discussed just now, probably you can see the problems. Ataupun can you think of the problems? Definitely is firstly what would be apa dia? Anything that you can think of the problem. Mesti ada yang terfikir apa-apa pasal problem. Anything that you want to share? Reliability of what? Data ataupun apa?
The result.
Oh, result. Alright, good. Maksudnya something like you want to know whether the outcome of the model would be relate to the reality or not lah, yeah. Okay, so that would be one of the common problem, yeah. And that's why when we deal with the data mining, yeah, we might want to really focus in the just now. If you do ataupun deal the supervised training set tu, training set ataupun the historical data very important. Okay, so you need to know which data can be used to develop the model. Okay, and when you develop the model, it will be related to the algorithms. Whether the algorithms are efficient, scalable, yeah. So what are efficient means that it can process big data, it can process some kind of, for example, currently you are talking about 5 variables. Next time you might have 10 attributes pula, yeah. So this is it capable? Is the algorithm capable to do that? Yeah. Same goes to the parallel and incremental methods, yeah. Handling data, high dimension data, noise, yeah. There are certain algorithms might not deal with noise. What is noise? Noise ni apa? Any idea? What is noise?
Background.
Unneeded data.
Meaningless data.
Okay, so you could see noise in the data set in the form of inaccurate information, like you gather data from sensors, but the sensor produce something like a very basic example is temperature. Now you feel like very cool, but your sensors say is 100 degrees. Is it consistent? Is it reliable ataupun is it betul atau tidak? So there must be something problem with the sensor. So this is handle of the noise lah. Okay, how are you going to deal with the expert knowledge in the data, in the process of data mining? So this is very important in KDD, yeah. Data integration just now tadi, you need to identify which appropriate, which information, which data will be appropriate. So these also can be depending on the expert knowledge. And after you develop the model here, you want to determine whether the outcome will be appropriate or betul lah atau benar. So you can also relate ataupun introduce to the expert. Okay, right, and then so this will be the other things that you need to also consider on the modeling process, which is learning set just now, yeah. How much examples? Example is referring to the samples or instances or set of records. Okay, how much cost? Yeah, do you realize that collecting data is very mahal? Do you know about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Collect data is very tedious task, and dia ada costing di situ. Okay, you might see there is a lot of scraper. Okay, betul tak? There is a lot of scraper, but now if you look at the those who are providing scraper ni dia dah bijak ya. Some of the level of information cannot be scraped easily or publicly because it's binded to the ethical, it's binded to the API level and so forth. So it also have licensing scraper now, so that you can see that how this license scraper cost you when you want to deal with the data collection. Okay, time, complexity and so forth. Yeah, this is learning phase. So how much time do you have to produce the product? Actually, if you look at the complexity of data mining itself, I would say that dealing with the data, understand the data will take you almost 50 to 70% of your development time, ataupun project lah. Okay, so modeling will be very fast, but looking at the data, identifying the best data would be something that you really need to take care. Okay. Alright, okay, this one also you can have a look at this, the performance of the model, whether it's robust, it's scalable. This is actually the repetition of the previous study, but it's the detail of the what is interpretability? Do you understand what is interpretability?
Able to interpret the knowledge or not?
Visualize.
Visualize, okay, good. If you relate to the visualize and interpretability, what you think something that can help you to understand the pattern? Graph, okay, good. Lagi apa dia?
Statistic.
Okay, statistics. Lagi?
Heat maps?
Statistics ni something yang mungkin yang ni heat map, so itu lebih kepada visualization lah, like Amiro dah mention. Okay, statistics is lebih kepada the description of the data. Okay, you probably want to see the knowledge is being presented, something that we can understand, or the model ataupun the algorithm able to explain the knowledge to the user in the form what we call rule. So rules. There are certain algorithms can produce rules. There are certain algorithms do not have rules. Okay, so like you have heard about black box algorithms, pernah dengar? Black box. Dah dengar tahu what black box algorithms? Okay, cuba carilah nanti So there are machine learning methods is known as black box. And what is black box? Okay, but there are certain algorithms can help us to give the interpretation and find giving us this kind of knowledge in the form of rules, and this will be very much appreciated to the user. Okay, so how do you value data and knowledge? As you've seen, there are many cases until now have not been solved. Like you see the getting data itself is not easy. It need to go back to the previous to the foundations of the knowledge, like how they determine the tracking of MH370, the pergerakan, is not using the very high technology, but they have to go back to the previous very I would say old technology, which is looking at the GPS tracking. Yeah. What I'm trying to say is not lose. We have satellite. We have lots of evolve technology and so forth. But at certain point, we need to go back to the older versions of technology. So I can't remember the thing that they have used in tracking the the movement ataupun the gerakan of MH370, but I can remember yang mana dia menggunakan satu kaedah tracking yang sangat lama, menggunakan teknologi yang lama. So that is how they can at the end deciding that MH370 is hilang, appear. Dia tidak terhempas dan tidak di mana-mana, tapi dia hilang. Okay. So in the conclusion is that what we have in data mining is actually we try to discover interesting patterns from large amounts of data. But to be true to you is that because for this subject we are going to make use the existing data, something that you have seen the pattern, have seen the knowledge. You might not see too much kata so-called vast, if how should I say it, maksudnya you tak mungkin because of data is yang kita akan gunakan very small, because we focusing on the understanding and the core processes of data mining. Okay. Hopefully later on, after you finish this study, you might deal with more bigger and also larger data set. So that's would be the usefulness of this subject. Okay, I hope for that. So benda ni adalah pembelajaran berterusan. Currently we very focus on the core point atau core steps. Yeah. If you able to understand the core steps, the processes in data mining, I believe later on you would able to practice this knowledge in the bigger side ataupun in the bigger overview of the large scale data ataupun biggest data and so forth. Okay, so to conclude that we are going to look at this classification, clustering, outlier ni sebenarnya tak termasuk lah. So we are focusing on if you look at the syllabus, we are focusing on the classification, clustering and association. Yes, we are going to look at the decision tree, k-means and also a priori. Yeah, and then we are going to make use the software that we are having in the lab session, so that we understand. Okay, and then when you go to the lab session, I will try to guide you to always relate to the lecture. So somehow I will see my previous students, they listen to the lecture, but you have problem to connect. Yeah, you have problem to connect what you have heard in the lecture to the lab session. Okay, but I will try to help to get you reconnect ataupun recall to the content, because it's actually not a separate separate entity, but it's always should be together. Means that you understand how you understand data mining have these three tasks, and how you are going to perform these three tasks using software. Not necessarily using Weka, you might want to use Oracle later on, you want to use SAS, you want to use other software. So this would be major ataupun kita nak outcome of this subject. Okay. Right. So with that, I think that's all for today. If anything that you want to ask, you have berapa minit ya? Around 15 minutes ya.
Hello, madam.
Ya.
Sorry for asking. I want to know where can we get this slide, madam?
future.
Oh, but in the future, I see that in the old version
All version. You mean all version of what?
of the slide, 2018 version.
Kalau you tengok dekat you future, let me share you future. Ni kan?
Yes.
Ni kan. So apa yang beza dia? Like what we have today. We have look at content 3
Oh, dekat sini. Oh,
Okay.
betul.
Ya?
Oh, sebab saya tengok dekat